Hey y'all, I'm Blaine Phillips.
And I'm Phillips-LeVan.
We're married, like just a minute ago, but we've been together for 14 years.
We have a teenage daughter.
Which means she's basically an adult, right?
We're also growing a business on the side together.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Through all of that, we've learned how to improve so many aspects of our lives and show up in an amazing way.
So we decided to host a podcast to share our journey with you.
It's called Let's Do Life Together, because that's just what we want to do with you.
So if you could use some tips and tricks on how to make life a little smoother,
then you're in the right place.
Come on in and let's do life.
Hi friend, welcome back. Today is episode 14, and we're going to talk about routines, specifically morning routines, why you probably want to get one if you don't have one, and then show you a little bit about each of ours and how they're different, but they still get the job done, right? All right, you here, Jason?
I'm here.
All right, first, I want to start with a little bit of a story. So recently, I happened to find myself at someone's home one morning, and we are going to, for privacy purposes, keep that name to ourselves. But I was there to witness their morning routine and what it looked like. I wasn't really trying to witness it. I just watched as a passerby, if you will. Let me take you there. So we're up, we're getting ready. I don't have anywhere to be, so I'm just kind of doing my morning routine, but at a slower pace than I might. This person, shall he remain nameless, he needed to go to work, right? It was chaos from the moment he woke up. He woke up disheveled. He was late already. He woke up, had hit the snooze button several times, so now he's late. Now he's scrambling about. His shower is fast. You're putting on your clothes, sweaty. I don't know about you, but I can't stand putting on my clothes directly out of the shower because then it's all steamy and then you're sweaty and your clothes are sticking to you and you don't feel comfortable. And now he's scurrying about trying to eat something quick for breakfast, not sure what that is because there was no plan in mind. Just every moment from every turn is a scramble. And it feels like, I don't know if you've ever been in this situation, because don't get me wrong, I've been late before myself. When you're scrambling, then it seems like little things just start to happen all along the way. You spill your coffee on your shirt and you need to go get a new shirt and you can't this and you can't that. And so he's scrambling about. He can't find his cell phone. Up and through the house. Where's the cell phone? Okay, got the cell phone. Got to do this. Oh my gosh, I'm way late. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm meant to exercise. There's no time for exercise. Can't do that. Duh. I'll just grab a piece of pound cake at Starbucks on my way through because there's nothing here for breakfast and I don't know what I'm going to eat. Okay. Crap, my shoes. I forgot them. They're in the bedroom. Back upstairs we go to get my shoes. And it's just one thing after another. There's no peace. It's complete chaos. Okay, I'm here. My hair is wet. I have no breakfast. I think I have 2 matching shoes. I do have my phone. I'm ready to go. I'm 32 minutes late. It's going to be fine. And out the door. Here I go. I literally watched him get to his car and he didn't have his keys. He wasn't going anywhere. Back in the house he is. Now he can't find his keys. Now we're scrambling for his keys. Finds his keys. 7 minutes later. Now we are 39 minutes late. We're sweatier than we were before and complete chaos. It was chaotic for me and I had nothing to do with it. I was just a bystander, just standing by, watching. It didn't affect my day, but yet it did because it's chaos and it's stressful. And I got the impression that's an everyday routine for him. Anyway.
And that can't be a good start to the day. Like, with that kind of stress, how do you then recover throughout the rest of the day?
Right, because
seems impossible.
The beginning of your day sets the tone for your whole day. It really does. Think about it for a moment. Even if yours is not quite that dramatic and you're not a complete train wreck like this seemed in the moment. If you have an argument with your kid or an argument with your spouse or something just doesn't go right, you do spill coffee on your shirt and accidents happen, but you're back in the house to change. It can kind of unnerve you and get you kind of off your game and just sets a not great tone leading into the whole day. What if every day was like that? Oh my gosh, I can't imagine.
So that's what we're talking about today is routines and I guess how to avoid that particular type of scenario and some of the benefits of having a routine and knowing, what the morning's going to entail.
I'm stressed now, just reliving
I
it.
know.
I was stressed then and stressed now. But it is important. Routines, I think, really sets the tone for your whole day. And ours have evolved. And it's important to notice that Jason and my routines in the mornings are different. And so we're going to speak to that a little bit. He's going to walk you through what his looks like. I'm going to walk you through what mine looks like. And then we're going to give you tips on how you want to develop your own and where you might start and where you might want to go. All right, Jason, tell us about your day.
Well, a little backstory first. So as we've been growing personally and getting into the personal development books and teachings, over and over again, you hear about routines and the importance of starting the morning with a routine. All the studies about, the high performers and some of the top people, in pretty much every industry, Bill Gates and Warren Buffett and all the names, and the people who have accomplished great things, and they all repeatedly call out particular things. One of them is get up early. One of them is take care of your body, and just the routines keep coming up.
Must be something to it if the high performers are all working out their mornings in a better way.
Right. So I specifically set out to start a morning routine and to have that kind of setting the tone the right way each morning. One of the books that comes highly recommended is Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod.
Yep.
That sounds right.
Yeah. Do you think of the movie Shallow Hal when you think of his name?
Mm-mm.
No? Do you see the little nubby tail? No?
Mm-mm.
All right, moving on.
Nope. For me, Hal is the computer from 2001.
What?
You're right. See? Here's the age difference coming out.
Hey!
So, for me, I logically understood that it's important to have routine. I read Miracle Morning, and I kind of briefly describe his approach. So he gathered all the research and came down with these several things that if you did them, it would have such a huge impact. He called it the Miracle Morning. A lot of it you can kind of condense down into an hour. So the basic premise is get up an hour earlier than you do now. Try to touch on all these things, and that's going to set your day up for success. So he comes up with this acronym of SAVERS, which is silence, affirmation, visualization, exercise, reading, and scribing, which is writing, but he needed a word for S, so he was happy for his thesaurus. So, and I appreciate all of those things. For me, personally, the way that I choose to implement is to layer things on top. So we already exercise, so that's easy. So that was already part of our routine. Great. I need to focus on some of the other areas. A while back, I started with meditation, so that's would fall under his silence. So you might pray, you might meditate, just moments of contemplation and just kind of having that quiet time to yourself to start the day. So that's one that I implement. For me, I've got a meditation app that I use. It's all guided meditations. It's a great app. I can link it in the show notes. But what it does is it teaches you some basic practices that I intentionally do in the morning, but I can find myself throughout the day coming back to some of those practices. So some of it's body awareness, for example. So throughout the day, now I'm aware of tightness, and I can take a moment, focus on that, release that, and just physically relax my body. Or breathing, and different breathing techniques, or different visualization kind of techniques. So that for me, that's part of the routine, is that meditation. Reading, I appreciate that. I do reading, but my reading isn't part of my morning routine. It's part of my daily routine. So for me, going to 9 to 5, I actually, during my lunch break, I'd make a point to do that reading. Some of the others I'm still layering on. So visualization, affirmations, and scribing are kind of the next layers to come on. So currently, I'm working on the visualization layer. So start the day, get up a little bit earlier. Blaine gets up before me. She goes to her space. I stay in the bedroom as my space. Have quiet time. Have visualization time. Get up. We have actually part of our routine is we have a morning connect time, and then into our home gym, which is the living room, for that
so
exercise time. And that's how I start the days.
Yeah, his looks different than mine for sure, but that's his and he's layering on. Mine has also layers. I have started because you can't go all in on anything. I mean, you can, sure you can, but we don't believe in that theory anymore. We just don't believe that going all in on anything is sustainable. Anything you want to improve upon, you just pick one part and you layer it on. You get good at that, you feel comfortable at that, and then you're ready to take it up a notch. So my routine I'm about to explain to you has happened well over a couple of years, and I've layered it. And it has changed too for different seasons. Maybe we're training for something and our workouts are a little longer, so I need to adjust it to work into the time frame that we have, or different things. It just kind of depends on the season. If I'm going through a certain study or a certain something, it evolves a little bit, I think.
Right. And so if I would have said, okay, I want to start morning routine and I want to do all those things from that book, for me, it would have turned into checking the boxes and not fully embracing the point of doing all those particular things. So now, I've fully embraced the meditation and, I've incorporated that into every day throughout the day. Well, if I tried that and all the other things all at the same time, they wouldn't be as meaningful or have the same impact.
Right. 5-minute meditation, check. 2-minute visualization, check. And then you're not really getting the point, I think. That's a good point. All right, so I'll talk about mine. So mine, I'm going to challenge you, actually starts the night before. I think this is a key part of my morning routine. I am an early bird. I like to get up early. Those are the best hours of my day. I start to fade as the day goes on. Don't ask me to use my brain after 7 p.m. I'm a pumpkin, but I'm an early bird. However, when I go to bed, I don't generally have a problem with sleep, but I want to be all done. And the way that I have figured out for me that I'm able to be all done, and what I mean is when I lay my head on the pillow, my brain's not racing on, I should have this, or what about that, or how's it going to go tomorrow, or yada, yada, yada. I'm not. I'm ready for sleep. And why? Because I have taken 15 minutes the night before to write my schedule for the next day. This is something I do on the couch while we're sitting, maybe watching a TV show at the end of the night. We like documentaries or something, and maybe we're just kind of zoning out. And I have my schedule in my lap, and I'm just sketching in what my next day looks like. What appointments do I have? What things have to happen at a certain time? What things do I want to get done that day? I use the Smart Life Push Journal. We can link to that in the show notes as well. I've used several different ones, and that's the one that I've found to be most effective. It maps out my exercise, my food, my water, my schedule, personally, and from a business standpoint, what tasks do I need to get done that next day? So I take 15 minutes and just write that out. So when I lay my head down on the pillow, I'm not thinking about, what do I have something tomorrow? What's going on? Oh, I need to get this done. No, I already brain dumped all of that information on my schedule. So I know what is expected of me the next day. There's no surprises. I'm not chaos when I wake up. Crap, I forgot about that doctor's appointment. Now I'm going to yada, yada. No, I'm ready to go. And that really sets me up for the next morning.
Well, so doing that, kind of that brain dump that night before, the studies show that actually will help your overall quality of sleep too, because you've released all of that, so you're not holding that and just having those thoughts, throughout the night.
Yeah, because your brain can't rest. Even if you're like, I gotta remember, and you doze off, your brain is working to try and do that. And I don't gotta remember. I just gotta sleep because I wrote it down. So do that. Even if you don't use a planner or whatever you use, just brain dump that stuff out. Take a look at your schedule for the next day so that you're not surprised. Sure, life can still toss things your way, but it's always better to start with a plan. You will feel much better off in everything. So then I'm an early riser, and my awake time has backed up to, yes, my alarm goes off at 4:15 every morning. I don't even hesitate about it anymore. Also, I go to bed at 9 o'clock, so I'm getting my sleep. I told you I turn into a pumpkin at 7, so I'm definitely getting my sleep. But the key is I set my alarm across the room. My phone is physically across the room. I have to get out of the bed to turn it off. And once I'm up instantly. Chemistry happens. No, I guess it'd be biology. I got to go to the potty straight away. There's no laying back down. I'm too old to not go to the potty. So here I am, off to the bathroom, brush my teeth right away. Now my brain is on and I'm ready to go. So like Jason mentioned, he hangs out in our bedroom. He's not quite awake yet. It's not his time. That's fine. That's what works for me. I come into the living room where it's quiet. Oh my gosh. That time in the mornings where it's quiet and no one's here and it's just me and my peaceful, non-chaotic searching for keys, spilling coffee, whatever. It's just me. So here I am. I've brushed my teeth, I've gone to the bathroom, and I've made my way into the living room. And for the next 45 minutes, I have my quiet time, what I refer to. During that time, I pray. I start with prayer. I work my way through a devotional, whichever one I might be doing at the time. Currently, I'm doing the She Works His Way devotional, but devotional, then I read from my Bible, then I write. I do 10 gratitudes and I just write down 10 things that I was grateful for the day before. Some people do this at nighttime. I'm a pumpkin, so I like to do it the next morning. It just kind of sets my intentions. And then I read. I found that if I don't read now, I want to read, I want to grow my brain. It doesn't usually happen throughout the day. Sometimes it might, but it's just become my habit. So I read some sort of book for growth in whatever area that I'm wanting to grow in. Maybe it's parenting, maybe it's business, maybe it's our marriage, whatever it is, I read. And that 45 minutes is made up of that. It's my prayer, it's my devotion, it's my time with God, then it's my gratitudes, and then it's my reading. And then I head off. By 5 o'clock, I'm into the kitchen having my glorious morning mom shine, as I like to call it. It's my pre-workout. And then Jason and I have carved out 30 minutes for our connection time. You can define connection time however you like.
Can I tell him?
Jason, oh my gosh. Sure.
So one of our focuses a couple years ago probably was, for not just to have a better relationship, but our personal connection, our intimacy, physical intimacy. And what we realized is that we were kind of on different schedules and, not always in the mood, I guess, at the same times.
Jason was a night owl. I was an early bird. I was a pumpkin falling asleep on the couch at 7:30 and not even close to awake when he came to bed.
Right. So not always making the time or scheduling the time. And as it turns out, the mornings are the times where we can most consistently connect physically.
Yeah, and that means sex. And sometimes it doesn't mean sex. Sometimes it means just laying there and snuggling and talking about what's on our minds or on our hearts. Sometimes it means sex. Sometimes it means both. It's whatever. And no, that's not the only time during the day we have sex. But carving out that 30 minutes in the morning to just physically connect and snuggle and be together. Oh man, it's such an intention for the day, because then you're going out into the world and you're going your separate places, and our relationship is important to us, and it grounds us, and it reminds us why we're doing what we're doing each day. So that's our time together.
Right. So it's how we schedule it. We want to connect that way 3-4 times a week. Then this is, in the calendar more or less of, this is part of the routine. This is how we start the mornings.
Yeah. And no, it doesn't take away from the fun of it. Scheduling is just fine. It just makes sure it happens. And then it's on to working out. Then we work out, and then then it showers and on with the day. But that first hour and a half, if you add in our exercise time, that's what our mornings look like. And mine begins the night before. So when I wake up, I know what my day is going to look like. I have a plan for that day. That is such a peaceful feeling when you wake up already knowing what's going to happen. I wake up before everyone else, and I think that's important to note. If you can wake up an hour before everyone and give yourself that time, it's huge, because you deserve it. But also, don't be crazy. We're in different seasons of life too. If you have a newborn, mama, you need your sleep. Now's the season for sleep. You can't always wake up an hour early. If you have to be at work at 3 a.m., probably you're not getting up an hour early, but you find a different hour in the day to set yourself up for success. I even physically sit things out the night before. When I told you I drink my mom shine, my cup of cold water is placed in the fridge the night before on my way to bed so that it's there waiting on me. My workout clothes are laid over the bathtub in the morning so I see them while I'm using the bathroom. There's no second guessing. So anything you can do that sets it up the night before. When I told you when I'm making out that schedule, I'm also making out my menu plan for the next day, what I'm going to eat. Takes out the guesswork. So if when I'm leaving the house, I know what I need to grab for my lunch, for my breakfast. I'm not winging it. The less you can wing it, the more successful you will be in anything you're trying to accomplish, whether it's health and fitness goals or your relationship or whatever it is. When you know there's a plan, then it works out better.
Right. And, just to reiterate, getting up earlier doesn't mean you're cutting into your sleep. You just need to adjust your bedtime to allot for that extra hour in the morning.
Right. If it means a less hour of Netflix the night before to give yourself a great start to the day, I think you're going to be okay. It's all about priorities, right? I think another thing to note is making sure that everyone else in the house knows what's important. Like, my family knows that time in the morning for me is precious. They're not even usually awake, so it's not hindering them. They know that I get up and I need that time. And when it doesn't happen because maybe I don't feel well and I needed extra sleep, or maybe something went crazy, because it doesn't happen every single day, I can feel it. It's become such a routine and such a habit in my life that I really need that to set me up for a successful day. And my family knows that. So when we're out of town, when we're traveling, they know mommy's going to get up and she's going to have this time for themselves. So whatever you need, it's important that if it is going to affect anyone else, that they get to hear that and know that too, I think.
Yeah, and you need to figure out what's going to work for you and try different things. So, the first thing is pick a time that you want to get up, but then the order of your routine can change or should change based on, what works for you. The time can shift, what works for you. It is shown that if you just stick with a particular time every day, even on the weekends, it really helps establish your routines. And it helps your sleep patterns also.
Yeah, like the rhythms that you're going through. What is that called? The sleep cycles? Cycles of sleep, REM, something? I don't know. But it is, if you can keep to the same routine, it is better for your body. The same basic going to bed time, the same basic wake up time. And I do that. My alarm goes off at 4:15, 7 days a week, unless something happened. We got to bed late the night before, or I don't feel well. But like Jason said, allow for them to evolve. I used to get up at 5:30, and then it went backwards a little bit. And then we did a workout program that was really long, and I needed a little more time. And I've just now evolved to 4:15. That's been my place for about a year now. And that's where I'm at. And it was all layers, just adding on little pieces to it. I also think I didn't mention this. I subscribe to this 100%. And this was a big game changer and something that I did this year that I might challenge you to add to it. So in that whole process that I just described from 4:15 to about 7 a.m. while we're doing our routine, having our connection, doing our workout, I have not opened my phone. I have not gone on social media. I have not checked email. I have not done any of those things. I have not let the world in. It's just me. And the world has only come in through my devotions or my book that I'm reading. It's just me. And then it's just me and Jason, because that is powerful. It has such an effect on you, whether you realize it or not. It's like you open an email and it says you have a task to do and you're like, oh, okay, got to do that. When am I going to work that into my day? Or you open social media and someone's on the yacht vacation. And you're like, oh, it's snowing outside and I've got to go. Like whatever it is, it creeps in. Don't do it. Don't roll over and grab your phone and let the outside in until you've taken care of you. Fill you up before you start letting the outside take you away.
Right. And if you don't have the discipline to ignore all those other apps, then I would say don't use that meditation app that I recommend. Like I'm okay with that. Like I can just launch that app and not look at anything else, mainly because I've turned off almost every notification. So I don't have a lot of numbers and alerts and things, in my face when I launch that app.
Yeah, that's a great point. I don't touch mine. It's just the alarm and then I turn it off and then I move on. And sometimes I might listen to a podcast in the morning instead of reading. Like that might be my brain growth, but I can do just that. You can turn your phone on airplane mode before you go to bed if you want to. If you don't want to turn your notifications off, if you've never tried that, I would really encourage you to try. Don't let the outside in until you've filled up your own cup. It's important. Yeah. So
digital habits could be a whole nother topic.
That's a good point, but not today. The reminder here is just committing that time to yourself. It's not selfish to need that time to take care of you, and it just sets a tone for your whole day. Focus on some gratitudes, whatever that looks like to you. I would encourage you to read the book that Jason did. I never actually read the book. He did because I'd kind of developed my own routines along the way. And it turns out they're a lot like what they tell you to do anyway. And it's what works for me. But if you have no idea and no basis to start, grab that book. The Miracle Morning is a great way to start. And you can also watch the movie Shallow Hal while you read it if you want. But whatever it is, give the time to yourself, create a habit. We're still in the first month of a new year. What better time to create new habits and give yourself grace, give yourself time for it to evolve, and let everyone else know in the house what you're doing and why you're doing it and why it's important. And while you're letting them know, let us know too. Let us encourage you. Let us cheer you on. If you want feedback or an idea for your specific goal, ask away. You can find us on the socials. I'm Blaine Phillips, or you can find Jason as J.LeVan. I don't know why he calls himself that. It's super weird. But we're there, and we always want to hear from you. So get out there and create your own morning routine. Here's to a great rest of your day.